Good morning, my dear students. I hope that you are fine and happy at your home along with your family. So today we are going to discuss about unit numbers 5, that is flow through pipes. I hope that you still remember that we have completed 4 units in the college while academics was going on. So here I have come with unit number 5, that is flow through pipes. So when you're talking about the pipe, then normally the cross section of the pipe used universally is a circular one. So any pipe carrying a fluid could be anything like water, oil, or gas. So when the pipe having the fluid and the fluid is taking place through the pipe, and when the complete cross section of the pipe is filled with the fluid, then we call it as a flow through pipe or the pipe flow. Whereas when the fluid flowing through the pipe is not filling complete cross section area and there is some space remaining in the pipe, then it is not called as the flow through pipe, but it is called as the flow through open channels. So this is the difference between the flow through pipes and the flow through open channels. So here we are interested in flow through pipes in this particular section. So here we'll discuss about the basic reason behind studying this particular topic. That is, when we are talking about the flow through pipes, then we have come across various long pipelines. Pipelines could be from few meters to few hundred kilometers in the length. Pipelines could be intercontinental, international, or pipelines could be also used for the municipal corporation purpose or for the household water supply purpose. So here, when fluid flows through the pipe for a longer distance, then due to the friction between the fluid flowing through the pipe and the solid boundaries of the pipe, there is loss of head due to the friction between the fluid and the solid boundaries of the pipe. Also, the fluid flowing through the pipe is a real fluid, so it has got certain viscosity, and due to the viscous forces, viscous shear, there is a resistance to the flow taking place through the pipe, and that also causes the loss of head or the loss of, we can say, power. So as to keep the flow intact, so as to maintain the flow intact, we need to overcome this resistance, that is frictional resistance, due to the boundary friction and due to the viscous shear resistance. That is why we need to calculate the loss of head due to this frictional resistance, and by virtue of that we will be able to maintain our flow constant and continuous through the pipe. So that is the basic purpose behind studying this particular unit. So here let us discuss about the losses that takes place through the pipes. The losses can be broadly classified as major losses and the minor losses. Major losses, as I have discussed earlier, they are caused due to the boundary friction between the fluid and the solid boundary of the pipeline, as well as due to the viscous forces opposing the motion of the fluid. Such kind of losses due to frictional resistance are called as major losses. Now, when it comes to the minor losses, then as pipelines are very, very long, so it may need some pipe fittings, it may need pipe bends, it may need some sudden expansion of the pipelines, it may need sudden contraction of the pipelines. So, due to pipe fittings, due to pipe bends, due to sudden enlargement of the pipe diameter, due to sudden contraction of the pipe diameter, there are losses taking place in the pipes, and these losses are called as the minor losses. So, with this, now let us try to discuss in details about the major losses that takes place through the pipeline, or we can say the head loss due to the friction. Now, so as to calculate the head loss due to the friction, there is a very famous formula called as the Darcy-Weisbach formula. This formula is used to calculate the head loss due to friction, and that is nothing but the major loss in the pipes. Now here I have taken a pipe having a circular cross section area. Now we have taken section 1 and section 2. Let us say the length of the pipe between section 1 and section 2 L. Let us say the pressure intensity at section 1 is P1, pressure intensity at section 2 is P2, datum head at section 1 is Z1, datum head at section 2 is Z2, right? So when fluid flows from section 1 to section 2, due to the frictional resistance, there will be the loss of head, and this loss of head can be called as HF. So here you can see at section 1 the pressure head is P1 by gamma, at section 2 the pressure head is P2 by gamma. So when the piezometers are inserted at section 1 and section 2, then the difference between the height of piezometer at section 1 and the piezometer at section 2, that is the difference between P1 by gamma and P2 by gamma, is nothing but HF, and that is nothing but the head loss due to friction. Now here let us apply Bernoulli's theorem or Bernoulli's equation between section 1 and section 2. So by applying Bernoulli's equation between section 1 and section 2, we know P1 by gamma plus V1 square by 2G plus Z1 is equal to P2 by gamma plus V2 square by 2G plus Z2 plus HF, where HF is the head loss due to friction. Now here in this equation, velocity V1 and velocity V2, or velocity head V1 square by 2G plus V2 and V2 square by 2G at section 1 and section 2 will be same, because the diameter of the pipe is uniform. So V1 square by 2G and V2 square by 2G will get cancelled. As pipe is horizontal one, so datum head, that is Z1 is equal to Z2, and they will also get cancelled. So what remains is P1 by gamma minus P2 by gamma is equal to HF. That is nothing but the loss of head due to friction. Now, let us say that fluid is flowing and it is able to overcome the frictional resistance. So now, force in the direction of the motion due to the pressure, because flow is taking place under certain amount of pressure force or the pressure. So now, when you're talking about the pressure force, then at section 1, pressure force will be P1 into A. That is pressure intensity at section 1 into cross-sectional area. Then pressure at section 2 will be P2 into A. Right, and they are opposing each other. So P1A is in the direction of motion and P2A is in the opposite direction. So hence, when I'm talking about the force in the direction of motion due to the pressure, then P1A will be positive and P2A will be negative. And its summation must be 0 because velocity is not changing. So I can say P1A minus P2A is equal to 0. So the net force acting in the direction of motion due to pressure is nothing but P1A minus P2A, that is P1 minus P2 into A. Let us say this is equation number 2. Now Froude by his experiments has given the frictional resistance in the pipeline in the opposite direction, and the friction resistance given by the Froude is equal to F dash into A into V raised to N, where F is equal to the frictional resistance per unit area per unit velocity. Capital A is the weighted area, that is area of contact between fluid and the pipe. V is the velocity of the fluid. N is the index, and generally it is taken as 2. Now here frictional resistance is equal to F dash into A. A is the weighted area, that is nothing but P in where P is the weighted perimeter and L is the length of the pipe. So F dash into P into L into V square. Now this frictional resistance F dash into P into L into V square, it must be equal to the force in the direction of the motion, that is P1A minus P2A, that is P1 minus P2 into A. So this is the force in the direction of the motion, and this force must overcome this frictional resistance, that is F dash into P into L into V square. Hence equating equation number 2 and equation number 3. So here P1 minus P2 into A is equal to F dash into P into L into V square. That is P1 minus P2 is equal to F dash. A is taken to this side. So F dash, this P L into V square. Now here we know from the geometry A by P is nothing but the hydraulic radius and denoted by capital R. So here instead of taking P by A, we will take R, that is we will put R in place of P by A. As A by P is R, so P by A will be equal to 1 by R. Hence this equation becomes P1 minus P2 is equal to F dash 1 by R into L into V square. Now dividing both the sides by gamma, that is P1 minus P2 by gamma is equal to F dash by gamma into 1 by R into L into V square. But we know, we already derived this particular relation, that is P1 minus P2 by gamma is equal to HF from equation 1. So putting this value into this equation, we get HF is equal to F dash by gamma into 1 by R into L into V square. Now, so this equation, now it is multiplied and divided by 2g. So HF into 2g F dash by gamma into 1 by R into L into V square divided by 2g. So what we have done here is we have multiplied and divided by 2g to this equation. So now here, as we know, r is the hydraulic radius, that is equal to a by p, where a is the cross-sectional area, that is pi by 4 capital D square. P is the perimeter, that is nothing but the pi into d. So r is nothing but d divided by 4. Putting this value of r is equal to d by 4 into this equation, now this equation becomes hf is equal to 2gf dash by gamma into 1 by r, that is nothing but r is d by 4, so 1 by r will be 4 by d into L into v square by 2g. Now simplifying this, now it becomes hf is equal to 8gf dash by gamma into LD into v square by 2g. Here 8gf dash divided by gamma is nothing but the friction factor, that is